Welcome again to the Old Principal. I am the Old Principal, and we have another English instructional program. Today's lesson is the seed. This looks like a seed has been planted and something is starting to grow. This will be lesson number 187, the seed. And first, we need to listen to the story. Then after the story has been read, we'll come back and look at it sentence by sentence.
Story 187, The Seed. The CEO of a major corporation needed to choose a successor. He called the young executives together. "I'll choose one of you as the next CEO. I'm giving you a special seed. Plant it and bring it back next year. I'll judge the plants and then I'll choose the next CEO." Jim received a seed and excitedly told his wife the story. They bought a pot and soil and planted the seed. Daily he watered it and looked for it to grow. After 3 weeks, others talked about their growing plants, but Jim's seed didn't grow. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, still nothing. By now, Jim began to feel like a failure. 6 months went by. Everyone else had trees and tall plants, but he didn't have anything. Jim kept watering and fertilizing the soil. He really wanted the seed to grow. A year went by and all the executives brought their plants for inspection. Jim didn't want to take his empty pot. But his wife encouraged him. "Be honest, Jim." "You're right," he admitted. "I will." At the boardroom, Jim put his empty pot on the floor amid a variety of plants. When the CEO surveyed the room, Jim stood in the back. "Oh, what great plants you've grown," said the CEO. Then he spotted Jim with his empty pot. "Bring him up here," he asked an aide. Jim was terrified. "What happened to your seed?" the CEO asked, and Jim told him the story. "Sit down," he announced, except Jim. "1 year ago, I gave each of you a seed. I told you to plant it and bring it back today, but I gave you boiled seeds. They were dead, so they couldn't grow. All of you, except for Jim, substituted another seed. Jim was the only one with the honesty to bring back my seed. Jim will be your next CEO."
Welcome back. Here we go. The CEO of a major corporation. Okay, 总裁. So CEO. Okay, so that means he is in charge of the corporation, of a major corporation. When it says a major corporation, 这个公司是一个非常非常大的一个公司 Okay? So the CEO of a major corporation needed to choose a successor. So what is a successor? A successor is 接班人. So this big corporation, they needed to choose a new 总裁, a new CEO. And so how are they going to choose it? Well, here is the method that one man used. Okay, I think this is a story. I can't imagine in today's environment that we do something like this, but let's see how the story goes. He called the young executives together. Okay, 他就召集 the young executives. Okay, what is a young executive? A young executive could be 这个一级的经理 or 主管. Okay, so young executives, he called them together, and so he's going to make an announcement. I'll choose one of you as the next CEO. Wow, that sounds like good news. So he's going to be the one to choose. Now, sometimes 他们有董事会 and things, but in this story, the old CEO will choose the new CEO, and some companies are like that. Going on, I'm giving you a special seed. Plant it and bring it back next year, and I'll judge the plants, and then I'll choose the next CEO. Now, this is quite a test. Very, very interesting test. I'm giving you a special seed, 特殊的这个种子. Okay, you know, 种子, something you plant in the ground, a seed. Okay, I'm giving you a special seed. Okay, you plant it and then bring it back next year. Next year, when you bring it back, I will judge it. Okay, so everybody gets to grow a plant. Okay, and then next year he will 评估判断 which one is the good one. Which one? Okay, I'll judge the plants and then I'll choose the next CEO. So all you have to do is to take the seed, plant the seed, grow the plant, and the next year, if your seed or now plant has grown the best, whoa, then you can be the new CEO. Going on, Jim received a seed. So he got the seed and excitedly told his wife the story. Excitedly, 蛮有兴奋的, okay, told his wife the story. I imagine, you know, he's been dreaming, wow, I have the opportunity to become the big boss, 大老板, 这个总裁. They bought a pot. What is a pot? You know what a pot is? A pot is 花盆. You have many different kinds of flower pots. You have big pots, little pots, and so they bought a flower pot, 花盆, okay? They bought the flower pot and soil. So they actually bought some soil, 这个土, and planted the seed. So far, so good. Going on. Daily he watered it and looked for it to grow. 每天他就浇水. Now, one time I planted something and I watered it too much. And so I water, and all the seeds died, or most of the seeds. 我是种玉米那时候. So anyway, daily he watered it and he looked for it to grow. Okay, that means to look for it to is another way of 他期望. Or you could have said here, he expected it, 期望 to grow, 要开始活起来, 发芽等等, okay? After 3 weeks, others talked about their growing plants. 过了3个星期, okay? Others talked about their growing plants. So, everybody is talking about the plants. See, all the young executives, they're growing the plants. 3个星期以后, everybody is talking. Their plants are growing and so woo. I think this is a 比喻. But whether it's a parable or a story, it has an interesting point. We go on. Okay. But Jim's seed didn't grow. Uh-oh. 他的种子没有发芽，没有长. Okay? Going on. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, still nothing. 3个星期, 4个星期, 还是没有东西. By now, Jim began to feel like a failure. And, this would be typical if you are doing something and everybody else is succeeding, 他们都成功了, then how do you feel? You feel like a failure. 你感到你是失败者. You are a failure. You're a person who is failing. And this is very common to experience. He felt like a failure. Going on. 6 months went by. 6 months went by. Everyone else had trees and small plants. Whoa! So you can understand that this is quite some of them had already grown so tall they were like trees. 好像这个小小的树, okay, are very tall plants. Okay, but he did not have anything. No wonder he felt like a failure. Jim just kept watering and fertilizing the soil. He just kept watering and fertilizing the soil. 有浇水, 有下肥料. Fertilizer is 肥料. 肥料 and then 下肥料. Fertilizing the soil. So he puts the fertilizer in the soil. He really wanted it to grow. But it was not growing. Something is wrong. Okay. A year went by. And all the executives brought their plants for inspection. Okay. A year went by. Okay. 过了一年. By now, some of them had pretty good sized plants, I'm sure. And all the executives brought their plants for inspection. So all of these, I would say they're first level executives, 一级主管, okay, they brought their plants, 他们的职务来检查. Jim didn't want to take his empty pot. Yeah, how would you feel? Everyone has a plant. It's growing. And Jim doesn't want to bring an empty pot. 他的花盆呢，没有任何一个植物。And so this is all he has, and he just didn't want to, he didn't want to go. Of course, do you blame him? 难怪, huh? Right. But his wife encouraged him. His wife encouraged him. Be honest, Jim. You're right. He admitted, I will. Okay. But his wife encouraged him. 他的妻子就鼓励他. She said to him, be honest, Jim. I mean, if it's not to, I can imagine my wife saying, if it's not to be, it's not going to be. Okay? 你要诚实，你要老实. Okay? So, just take it as. And he admitted, he said, yeah, I will. I'll just take it. But he was embarrassed. 非常不好意思，也是蛮丢脸的. Okay? It was face losing, for sure. At the boardroom, okay, board is 董事会. And room is 房间这个屋子, okay, 会议室. Jim put his empty pot on the floor amid the variety of plants. Jim put his pot on the floor, and all around his pot were different kinds of plants. Many different kinds of plants. Going on. When the CEO surveyed the room, Jim stood in the back. What great plants you've grown, said the CEO. Okay, the CEO surveyed the room. What does it mean to survey? In this case, survey means he's looking at everything. He's looking at it, and then he says, wow, what great plants. Okay, great, meaning very nice plants. You've done a good job. Going on. Then, of course, where was Jim? He was standing at the back. Okay, he was standing at the back. And so then he saw Jim with his empty pot. Okay, somehow he knew that the empty pot was Jim's, and Jim was sitting at the back, 躲在后面呢. Okay, I would be hiding too. This would be an embarrassing moment, and I'm sure that the other people were snickering. And so he said, bring him up here. He asked an aide. First of all, who is an aide? An aide is a 助手. Okay, so if you have an aide, if I have an aide, I have a 助手. Okay, bring him up here. 叫他上来. Okay. Jim was terrified. 他就非常非常害怕。To be terrified means that you are afraid of something. You are nervous, you are afraid, 非常恐惧 terrified. Going on. What happened to your seed? The CEO asked, and Jim told him the story. What happened to your seed? Okay, 你的种子怎么了？怎么了？ Didn't grow. What happened to it? The CEO asked. Okay, this is 总裁, remember? The CEO. And Jim told him the story. He probably said, hey, I watered it faithfully. I put fertilizer on the soil faithfully. I did everything. So he's telling him the story. I did everything that you would expect to do. I imagine at this point, the people were snickering. You know, but they didn't say much. They just kind of, maybe they were embarrassed for Jim too. And then he said, sit down. Okay? He announced. Except Jim. Uh-oh. Everybody sit down except Jim. 1 year ago, I gave each of you a seed. 1年以前，我给你 what? A seed. I gave you 一粒种子 a seed, a special seed. I told you to plant it and then bring it back today. And of course, this is exactly what they did. They took the seed home, just like Jim. They all bought pots, they got soil, they watered, they fertilized, and everybody's apparently 好像 grew and grew and grew, but nothing happened with Jim's. So I told you to do this, and now, see, you guys have all these plants here. Going on. Going on. But I gave you boiled seeds. Boiled. When you boil water, you know what you do when you boil 煮开水. 煮开水, boiled seeds. He had put the seeds in boiling water. Excuse me, think this thing through. What would happen to a seed in boiling water? It would die, wouldn't it? Boiling water will kill the life, destroy the life inside the seed. I gave you boiled seeds. They were dead. They were dead. So they couldn't grow. There was no way for them to grow. They were all dead. 根本没有办法发芽，这个长大。All of you except Jim substituted another seed. All of you. except 除了 Jim 以外，你们都 substituted another 是换了另外一个种子。You all substituted another seed. Only Jim didn't do that. Going on. Jim was the only one with the honesty to bring back my seed. Jim was the only one with the honesty to bring back the seed. And then he made the announcement, Jim will be your next CEO. So, there you have the story. There are times when we, every one of us, need to be honest. You know something? Sometimes when we are with other people, we do not feel comfortable telling them the truth. We don't want to tell them the truth, so we don't tell the truth. 我们不说这个真正的故事。We just make it sound like we've done a good job. Probably this story, and it's just a story, should teach us that we should all be honest, no matter what the results. 不管这个效果是什么，果效是什么， it's still best to be honest. My father always said, honesty is the best policy. Our email address, theoldprinciple@gmail.com, and our website is www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, it's been great to be with you. I hope that you'll join us again for another interesting lesson and bring a friend. See you then.